So it's towards what?
Discuss.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'll look at it from this way to know what the organization stands for, like their goals at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, and I'll try to, as a Scrum Master, I'll try to relate to that to bring out the values of
Mm-hmm.
what's the values of the organization, the team, like to bring out the end goal is to customer satisfaction and productivity growth for the company. So when working with your team as a Scrum Master, your focus is guiding them towards um, that same value that the organization holds.
No, that's a very good try. It is true. That's why I remember when Fatima was giving her elevator pitch, I was saying that you don't just focus on the team alone, you also have to focus on the organization as a whole, which is exactly what you're driving towards. And this question just fits perfectly with that, you know, where you are getting the team not beyond focusing on just the sprint goal or the product they are working on, but try to connect everything to the company's vision, to the company's mission. So all of that, that's what get everyone to connect, right? And that's where sometimes we play a huge role on that. That's what this is asking you. So anyone else have any question? Can you hear me? All right. So what's going to be the next question?
Should we answer this question well then? From
Yeah.
your perspective?
So who would like to? Because we have to get someone to volunteer to answer the question, right? Which is how would you align your team with defined strategic business objective as a scrum master?
Yeah, so it looks like everyone
Can you hear me?
tried from the aspect of understanding of the question and where I can start. And I think Walter also contributed and the best. So I think we're at the point where students are have tried their best. If you can answer the question, and then we can move on to the next.
Did you try answering the question?
Well, I told you by saying I'm not trying to answer the question, but I'm trying to discuss with the team and yourself on my point of view on where to start and responding to that answer.
No, but when you guys are answering this question, you have to answer it in a point of view of like you in the interview state. You can just list something.
Got that.
Huh?
I think we got that, but the gap here is that we're not able to answer it at the moment. I'm
So
not sure.
Walter, that you presented this question. So Walter, I will expect you to know it, right? Know at least or have an idea at least on this question.
Yeah, I have an idea. So, okay, let me answer from the point of view from the insight that I had from my fellow team members. So I can add it to mine. So thank you for the question. In the past, uh, I've helped my team to align with the uh, with the company business strategy by aligning uh, what we deliver on the product backlog, making sure that the items or the tickets we have on the backlog are prioritized and they are the most important and the most items that will deliver value to our company and our organization and our company or to our customers. backlog using Moscow technique, making sure that the most important and drive.
All right, not to cut you off. So when you are asked around aligning business objectives, right? Whenever it comes to business objective, it's beyond what's in the team's product backlog, right? So that's where you think beyond project, more focus on product and portfolio. And that's where your OKRs become in place, right? The objective and key results. Or if you don't work in an environment that they use OKR, you might then look at the roadmap, which you were explaining initially, talking about the roadmap, right? So in this case, you can start by just saying like, oh, with my team, when it comes to things I do as a Scrum Master to ensure that we align with the business objective and business goal is in our quarterly meeting or in our quarterly roadmap planning or in our quarterly advanced planning, we will always meet as a team and discuss high-level future objectives to see how we can ensure that what the team is working on align with the overall business goal and objectives. And if you're working in a safe environment, that's where the PI planning comes in place, right? Because in PI planning, we're looking at the epics, the futures at that high level and discuss how can we work on this throughout the duration of the sprints. But that high level discussion starts early. And based on what's being gathered there, will now determine what can be broken down towards the product backlog. Of course, collaborating with the product owner. So that's why you have to mention advanced roadmap, OKR, PI planning, all of those things can now help you do that high level planning to ensure that you align with the business goal and objective. And also writing measurable goal. What another thing the Scrum guide also addressed this, right? If you think about it, what is one thing that the Scrum guide stated and but actually aligns with these business objectives? What do anyone think? Anyone knows? Anyone knows that? Can you guys hear me? Anyone would like to say anything on that? Yeah, that's the Agile Manifesto talking about the working software over processes and tool. The Scrum guy talked about a team working towards Scrum team working towards a sprint goal, right? And then also we have a product goal. So that product goal usually should align with the sprint goal. And if you look at the product goal, for the most part, that also will align with the business objective, OKRs, and all of that. So that's how you correlate those two. And who help bring all that alignment and that transparency and the visibility on that is us Scrum Masters that do that. Yep, yep, yep. All right. So, what is the next interview question?
The next one is how do you create psychological safety for a new team member as a Scrum Master?
So, how do you? So, you all can also help answer this question. So, how do you create a psychological safety for a new team as a Scrum Master? Ooh, okay. How do you create psychological safety for a new team as a Scrum Master? So, looking at going back to the 3 steps we do to identify question and know what these people are asking, right? So, what is the key word for this question? Okay, I see that. But what is another keyword you can call out on this one? What is the keyword? New team. Creating that psychological safe environment for a new team. That's basically the keyword for this interview question. So, any other keyword? I think that's it, right? Because sometimes when they write all this long question, you can get lost in your thought. But if you're able to look at it and at least identify the one thing you must answer, in this case, is psychological safety for new team member. Everything else can just go. So now that we know this keyword, what is the reason why you might be asked this in an interview? Different assumption. Let's now create different assumption. Why would they ask you this in an interview?
They would ask this question because teams don't feel safe in the environment, whether they're doing retro or stand up. They're not voicing their point of views and opinions. So there's not collaboration. Basically, they're in the norming state. They're not performing with one another due to the psychological safety that they don't feel is there. So we want to, they want to ensure that whoever is coming.
Okay, Miran, just say this in short. So, thinking about this interview question, how do you create psychological safety in new team as a Scrum Master? Right, that's the question. So, the not to answer it yet. So, the keyword stated that new team. We came up with. We decided to say that the as a new team, psychological safety, right? So, what's the reason why you might be asked this in a simple terminology? Why would they ask you this in an interview about creating a psychological safe environment for new team?
They're building environment. So they have a new Scrum team that they want to
That's your
ensure.
experience. Mhm.
Yeah, they want to ensure that the teams can collaborate and work with one another and feel safe. So it looks like they have a new environment, new team members.
But thinking about what I always say, right? Instead of you always thinking about the Scrum Master, thinking about the team. In this case, if we're coming up with different assumption, how can you create some kind of assumption around the Scrum Master and not the team? Because it even says in the question as a Scrum Master.
Yeah, so they want to ensure that the Scrum Master that's coming in has an experience around working with new team members.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Scrum Master having experience working with new team member, right? That's a good one.
yeah, and have the understanding of the Scrum values and principles, and be able to support the team to ensure that there is a psychological safety for them to collaborate and work with each other.
Yeah, that's a good one. I see Joy also wrote team are working in silos and they want a scrum master that can help them team better collaborate, right? So what's another assumption why they might ask you this? So someone asks me to see how well you can work with people with different mindsets. Yeah, that's a good one too, Liz. Walter, what did you say?
She was saying from the Scrum Master view, not from the team, but from
Yeah, the Scrum Master view, exactly. Because when you go to a Scrum Master interview, they want to learn about you. They don't want to learn about so much. Of course, with them knowing you, that will reflect on how you will treat the team. So another simple one about why they might ask you this around psychological safety for new team. Maybe they've already had a Scrum Master in the past that was not patient with the team. It says new. That's what I was asking, like keyword, right? Nobody was addressing the new team. So that means they want a Scrum Master that will be very patient when they come into this team, right? They want a Scrum Master that have a very good emotional intelligence skills. Very, very important, that emotional intelligence as we are working with new team. Because you want to be understanding, very patient, and meet them at where they are. So with all of that, you need that safe space. That's why I say psychological safety. Whenever you say psychological safety, always just think about emotional intelligence, empathy, being that true servant leader, right? So all of that can help influence why. And now you go to this interview, they are asking you this question, they're seeing you. Hopefully, you someone that have all of these skills. You are empathetic. You are able to be patient to work with people that are new. We are also understand the foundational agile mindset stuff, like as some of you were saying. So all of this is very, very important. Yeah, this one said they're looking for scrum master that will not micromanage. That is true. That's a good point too. A scrum master that will not micromanage. So, so who can answer this question then? When it comes to this question around, this is a very good question, by the way, and Walter that you brought here. This is a very, very good question. So, how can you help answer this in an interview setting? How do you create a psychological safety for a new team member, for a new team actually, as a scrum master? How would you answer this? Remember, we have three more questions to go, so you guys need to let it go. No, Mira, you always go. You always volunteer. Let someone else go. Who else would like to answer this question? How do you create a psychological safety for a new team as a scrum master? You also can take your own. Go ahead.
Thank you for that question. I first started in Scrum. I was Scrum Master for a team that was just transitioning from waterfall to Scrum. I've helped the team transition from help the team transition from the waterfall environment to Agile and Scrum, and successfully adapt the Agile values and principles to project impact led to a fast, higher delivery to customers. I ensure that I was not pushy, I was patient, impatient with all the team,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring that everyone respectful, communicated. I needed to meet one-on-one, a little training session, and were able to deliver quality value.
That's a nice try. That's a very nice try around answering that. You did very good trying. So, who else would like to answer this question around how do you create a safe psychological safety for a new team as a scrum master?
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I understand from this question is to have the team safe regarding the mental health state, right? So as a scrum master, I always make sure that I schedule 30 minutes every sprint for my team so we can have fun and stay connected. So this is a good way to improve their moral and sharing any detail they want. We play games, we talk about fun topics. And the one that I really like is the superhero challenge or karaoke. So help them to cool down and be happy.
That's a very good try. And I know Liz, you just raised a very good point too about doing one to one, get to know them. All of that is very good. As especially if the team is new, right? They have to understand that the environment is safe. But what is one thing that we do as a scrum master to help promote that collaboration, encourage team to open and know that the environment is safe for them to discuss and share everything. There you go, working agreements, right? So the working agreements that we have, that's why it's basically one of the foundation thing you do when you kickstarting a new team, right? After doing your agile maturity assessment, the next thing is to do the one-to-one, like Liz, you were saying, do one-to-one, get to know them beyond just their technical skills. Like if you two you can share a little bit. Oh, I'm Aisha. I love to have fun, play after work, and I do this thing for fun. And you to go, like, oh, what do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? Or what are you into outside of work? Get to know them outside of work. So then that can be a very good icebreaker for you. If they have pets, like, oh, do you have a pet? Tell me about your pet. All those little things. So then when you now facilitate the working agreement session, you make it collaborative and discussion, right? When it's collaborative and people are able to open up and discuss, then you can create your team norms. You can create like consequences for people not meeting those rules and regulations that you all set up. And you, the scrum master, not dictating things at them, but more or you able to listen, and at the same time, you all collaborate to come up with that working agreement. All of that is important.
What about building that relationship that creates trust among the team members?
Yeah,
So that in case of conflict, it's easy to resolve it before it becomes
that's a very good one.
longer or intense.
Building that interpersonal relationship. Yeah, all of that is very important for new team. And you also not being the agile police, right? Agile said this, agile said that. But more on being so open and say, okay, I understand, I acknowledge your opinion, but for best practice, always use that terminology. For best practice, this is how I would suggest for us to do it. And we can experiment it and see if it's gonna work. And if it wouldn't work, we'll try something else. And when they are wrong, never say I told you so. Never ever say that to them. Oh, I told you so. You can't do that either. But more on, okay, that's fine. We're just gonna learn from that and hopefully next time make better decision. So and continuous openness, discussion, and you're not basically reporting any mistake to leadership, going to go report to them or reporting them. Because if that's the case too, they won't trust you, they won't believe you, they will hide things, and you don't want that too as a scrum master. So all of this can create that safe environment, emotional safe environment for new team. And remember, sometimes new team, not that they don't want to do agile, it's because some people are very afraid of change. And it's not easy for change too. We all sing about, oh, I respond to change, over following a plan, going back to the Agile Manifesto, right? We always sing about this. But it's very important to know that sometimes in reality, going through that phase, it's not easy. People that have never used Jira, you're not asking them to use Jira. And some people, they've been doing one thing for years. So it takes a lot for people to adapt to something new. And you, the Scrum Master, you have to be patient. If you want to train people at your own level, it's very difficult to be successful at that. The best way to always meet them at where they are. And by you doing that, showing empathy, slowly they will adjust and they also will come to you and ask questions. If not, they will just be looking at you and at the end of the day, they will say, Agile won't work. But sometimes it's us that are making some of those mistakes. That was a very, very good question.
I want to share one experience.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go ahead and share.
I took agile certification recently, and I learned a lot on how to facilitate team
Good.
members and how to work with team members. And while doing some exercises, I remember on one of my projects, it was um, a large team, Scrum teams, and it was different team
Yes, Liz.
members. And when I joined those teams, they had their own way of working. Like they did have an understanding of some of the agile principles.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the Scrum ceremonies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I, on the other hand, and the team wasn't like really working together. They weren't performing. There's some gap insecurities and not feeling safe and all of that stuff. Um, but I was too scared to implement team agreements. I feel that when it's new team members or when Scrum Master comes into a new environment, it's best to see if the team has a team agreement, and if they don't, to ensure that we identify that
and work with everybody, make sure that everyone agrees on it, everyone works on what the team agreement is, everyone reviews it, have the separate discussion, separate meeting around that, and make support the team to feel like, hey, this is not
Yeah.
an environment where we're judging one another, when we do retrospective or stand-ups, feel like a family member, quote unquote, you know what I mean? So without any judgment, to be able to give good feedback to one
Yeah.
another, you know. So I think this class taught me that I did not do those things, and I felt that I didn't do those things because I did not know I could in that environment. I thought, oh, I'm just a scrum master. Oh,
Yeah.
they know so much and I don't. Like, I was just, it's called like imposter syndrome or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So I
Imposter
really
syndrome is
needed
real.
to initially work on team agreement so that the team members can collaborate and work together and feel safe.
Yeah, that's a very great point. Sometimes when we are new Scrum Master, you would think you will have someone to guide or show you what to do. Sometimes in these places, they expect you to take all the lead and initiate everything. And if you do not initiate some of those, then there is no way it will be done. And that working agreement is one of them. Because sometimes the business, they're not worried about the working agreement, or they might not even know what that is. So then it's up to you now, Scrum Master, to now implement it. If you're a new Scrum Master, and that's why we always encourage people to get mentor, right? Because then your mentor will tell you, like, oh, these are the things you should have in place to get your team to a high level, or to get your team to be successful. You must do this. Oh, you must have a working agreement. Or you must have a definition of ready. You must have a definition of done. Or you must do like a one-to-one every like now and then with your team beyond just meet and greets. You must introduce team building activities. You must do like fun Friday activities like game days, scavenger hunt games, all these different things you can do beyond what's written in the books. And who can help guide you there? Your mentor. Or hopefully too at your job too, if you have someone that's experienced that they can put you with. But 9 out of 10, they always do not have that. They expect you to come in and kick this. Exactly, exactly. I recently had a student that joined my level 3. The first day she got into her company, they asked her to facilitate a PI planning breakout session. First day ever on the job. First day. And that's insane. Some on the spot, like, oh, right here, go facilitate breakout session. Right here, go facilitate this meeting. And I was like, wow. On the first day, but she came to me after the fact, like, oh my God, Aisha, I had to run to your class. Because I was given to facilitate a PI planning breakout session. And it was my first time working in safe environments. I've worked in different environments as a scrum master, but at first I just didn't know what to do. But thank God you had a YouTube video and that helped, you know. So it's just to tell you that some things you scrum master you have to initiate. And if you don't do it, they'll be looking at sometimes in an environment they don't even know what agile is. It's not gonna get done. So that's why you have to be proactive and be active to help and ensure that you know what you are doing. Scrum Master job is not as joke and easy as you all think. There's a lot of things that we take the steps because why? We are the leader. Just that you're not a bossy mean leader, but you're a servant leader. That's very, very important.
And one thing I've also noticed, I don't want to take up too much time, but just a second.
No, go ahead.
As Africans, maybe, I'm African, but it's like, for me, it's like, hey, you want to do your job? Just get along, just do your job. What am I like doing team agreements?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do your thing, right? I'm doing my thing, like, let's work from hard and then whatever. But that part of our culture doesn't work. Like, we need to have things common together. We need to have, it's just guidance.
Yes, yes.
Constant guidance. Put that in there, and ensure that everyone.
We're doing Scrum Master interview question and answer. You can write your question down. Yeah, you're right, Miron. Sometimes that's what they say the cultural barrier, right? The cultural difference. Sometimes that can scare you sometimes. And we have accent. Like me, I have accent, but I'm so proud of it though. I don't hide it. And I don't even want to hide it. You can see me, I'm always throwing my accent there. I don't care. Like if you can understand me, do transcribe audio or do auto caption. Because I don't want anybody to change themselves for me, and I don't want to change myself for anyone. But at the same time, too, we have to learn other people's culture, right? We have to be open, we have to want to learn, we have to want to adjust. All that is very important. Because if we don't understand other people's culture as a scrum master, it's going to be very difficult for us to able to help get this team to be successful. Because I've worked with a lot of offshore team members and I've seen different personalities based on their own culture. I always have to do one-to-ones to bring those people on for them to know that it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to question me when I'm bringing things to the team. It's okay for you to agree to disagree. Not just say yes, 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 yes to everything. That's very, very important. And who helps set that pace is you, the Scrum Master. You're going to help set that pace. And if you don't do that, you're going to find a team, they'll be so quiet. And people will be like, oh, my team is so quiet. My team is so quiet. Yeah, your team is so quiet because you didn't try to build a relationship with them. You didn't try to get to know them. You didn't try to get their know their cultural background beyond what you have in your Scrum meetings. So of course they won't open up to you. So all that is very, very important as a Scrum Master. All right, let's go to the next question. So what is the next question we want to ask?
So the next question, I think that will be the last question we're gonna have.
What interview question we're gonna do next?
Yeah, what is the storyboard and how have you used it?
What do you mean storyboard? What is a storyboard? What does that mean?
Storyboard. There's a storyboard. It's like saying product owners or like what are they called?
Storyboard? What does storyboard look like?
Like where you draw and
Are you talking about the whiteboard?
The whiteboard or Jira board? The Scrum Active Scrum board?
Whiteboard or whiteboard?
no, they call it. Hold on, let me see. I got it from
Board? Or
it's a graphic organizer. It's
Yeah.
just
That
illustration.
is that where they have the list of all the tasks that need to be done, like need to do work?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like the Scrum board then. That's like the active Scrum board then. No problem. You can drop. So that's like so that storyboard that basically is like your active Scrum. I think we can skip down. I want us to do one that's really, really nice here, right? How much capacity would you consider to technical depth, fix, important, bug, and innovation? Oh, that's a big question, but that's a very good question. So the question is, how much capacity would you consider to technical depth, right? Because every other thing is just covering what technical depth, like fix, bugs, rework, all of that related to technical depth. So the question is, if you're asked about this as a Scrum Master, what are the key words in this question? How much? So what is the question? Capacity, yes. The key word is definitely capacity. That's a very good one. You did very good answering that. Because if you understand the keyword, then at least you can have an idea to be able to practice knowing how to understand what you are being asked. Because if you don't even understand what you are being asked, there is no way you can even know how to answer the question. So that's why we do keywords. So after that, why would they ask this to a Scrum Master? What are some reasons that comes to your mind that they may ask this to a Scrum Master that, oh, how many capacity would you set aside for technical depth, reworks and fixes? So why would they ask this to you as a Scrum Master? And you guys can text, by the way, on the chat if you have any answer.
I can give one scenario. So you might have a
Hold on, I think, go ahead and we can come back to you. No, it's fine. We can come back to you. I know I saw her hand up. I want to answer her. Go ahead. You have your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, so they want to know that you know how to calculate the capacity and how to use the velocity for the project. So
Yeah,
for that answer,
that's a very good
uh,
one. That's definitely around understanding to know that if you do know capacity, you understand team's velocity, and basically you know how to calculate that as a scrum master. And one thing about this question though, there is no right or wrong answer. You just have to have an understanding, you know, because this word capacity, velocity can be so confusing sometimes. It's funny because my tomorrow video on YouTube that I'm dropping, it's actually going to be around team velocity. How can you answer that in an interview? I interpret the velocity on how can you answer that in an interview if they ask you that question. So that's my YouTube video tomorrow dropping. So what's another reason why they might ask you this in an interview? Where are your own text messages? So what are some reasons why?
I want to make sure that you don't go over the capacity so we can go.
Not really, not much as that. There's one very important reason why they are asking this in an interview. And I'm sure most of the time might be coming from the tech people. You know how the technical and the business side. So what is the main reason why they might ask you this in an interview?
Okay, the main reason of it probably you have a stakeholder who always brings a lot of items.
Not
So
really.
it's
Think small, you
The
know.
scope of something.
Scope creep you're talking about?
scope creep.
No. So they're asking you this. Maybe this team are working on a lot of rework. So the reason why I'm saying that I once worked for a company, right? And their whole backlog was they were doing waterfall, right? They developed like a year before anybody even start testing. So they did the testing, and almost half of the code failed. And they had all these post-production release bugs in the whole damn backlog, right? And they hired a scrum master, which was me and some other team, to come fix this issue. We were not even working on a new thing. We were just cleaning up the mess the last people did from a year ago. The most difficult thing you ever work or having a whole team work on. Because they have to not only learn about the work, learn about where the mistake happened, and now look for way how they can help resolve that mistake. Very, very difficult. So this team might they either they have technical depth issue that they want someone to dedicate capacity to, and also they want a scrum master that's able to differentiate how they can prioritize the sprint load. Because maybe they have their already prioritized futures they want to work on, and also they have important technical depth item that they are working on, and they want to ensure that you are able to accommodate both in a sprint backlog. And you can dedicate some kind of percentage for technical depth work and some kind of percentage for the future that's going to be worked on in the sprint while you are collaborating with the product owner and the team. And whenever you see a team working on a lot of technical depth items, most of the time you have to negotiate with the PO. Because why is that? Why do you have to negotiate with the PO?
He's the one who knows the business.
Yes, because the PO are the one running the business sometimes, and they are the one attached to the stakeholder. The stakeholders are coming with, oh, we want this, we want that, we want this, and then the tech people are seeing that, oh, we had all this technical debt from last pad release, so we have to fix this. So because if we don't fix it, later on it's going to come back and bite us. So you now have to help build the bridge between both, where they can able to negotiate, going back to the invest, right? Invest criteria, that end negotiation is very, very important. So they can negotiate and come to an agreement to know what to include in that backlog. It's very, very good skills for you to have. And as a scrum, as you all continue to work and get comfortable, you're going to find yourself being the voice of the team. Very, very important. That's how beautiful this job is. Very, very good job. All right, so how would you answer this in an interview? Since we already give up different assumption on why would they ask you about how much capacity can you give as a scrum master towards technical depth, rework, bug fixes. I have some quiet people up there. No, nobody want to answer. Or is this word too big for you all? Just see it. Sometimes people are very confused or so worried about technical depth. Technical depth is just that something that company do not want. Just see it as that. See it as something. Remember, you said technical and depth. Who likes depth? Nobody likes depth. So see it as that too. It's basically rework. Simple as that. Rework. Something that we do not want. But unfortunately, it happens. Because why? We are humans. We are not perfect. Things happens, right? But then you, being a scrum master, being so proactive, what can you do to help resolve that? Or what can you do to help prevent that? Because it's definitely preventable too. But how would you answer this in an interview? How much capacity would you consider to allocate towards technical depth? Nobody? If nobody, we're going to end class here. Nobody have anything to say around this question? Wow, you guys online. None of you want to answer this question? You can put it on the chat, by the way. I saw people join. You have 8 people. How would you answer this in an interview? People that are just watching me.
Shouldn't technical debt be like calculated by the actual developers?
Not only developers though. Some it depends, right? About 5 to 10%. Yes, Harriet, you're right. We definitely that's a very good range to dedicate around 5 to 10% towards technical debt. By right in company industry, by right that's what's being used. But sometimes you will see a PO fighting you for that. No, we can't give towards that. We have more important future we have to work on. The technical people have to stop having all this rework issue. Sometimes some things you can it's unpreventable.
But some companies form
Like the bug team.
the bug
Yeah, I know the bug team.
yeah,
I feel like it's terrible though to have a bug team. I'm like against that having a bug team or a technical debt team. That means you're telling these people, oh, don't work hard. If you make mistake and you fail your code, guess what? We'll hand over your mess to different team to solve it. You don't want to do that either. Because if you do that, you just hand over the mess to different people, your team will never be proactive. Because why? Just like in your house, right? And you know that you're not doing your dishes, you have someone doing dishes. What would you do? You will mess up the whole dishes and leave it in the sink and walk and go. Right? But if you know any plates you eat or you dirt, you have to come back and clean it. You're going to be very cautious the way how you use it. So it's the same concept, I think, around this technical depth thing. If you make a mistake, have the issue, try to learn it and fix it. Because guess what? If they go back and try to fix it, 9 out of 10, they will learn so much more. They will learn a lot more from going back to look at what was the issue, why did that happen, and now they will come out being an expert, knowing how to resolve that. Hopefully, in the future, they will not make the same mistake. That's why I don't believe in that bug thing.
technical debt doesn't happen too frequently or too much. Um, by supporting the product owner and refining the backlogs, ensuring that the stories have been understood by developers, or if they have when we do like sprint planning to ensure that the developers have reviewed it before they got into the meeting and are able to ask and raise going back to feeling safe in their environment to be able to ask questions to the product owner and collaborate with the product owner and clarify any hiccups that they have or any questions that they have so that we don't have too much technical debt.
Yep, yep.
Will be a big place to start to prevent it.
That's very good answer. Very, very good answer. Good job.
Reduce technical debt also by increasing testing by introducing regression,
Yes,
automation
regression testing,
testing.
swarming, pair programming, all of this can help reduce technical debt. Yeah, very good answer. Wow, you guys are very smart people. Very smart people in here. All right, so do you guys do one last question? And it's almost time for class to end. Do you guys want to do one more last question or you just want to end? Yeah, we can. I am. So what question should we do next?
Yeah, I'll read it to the rest of the team. I'll read two questions and then you decide which one you want to take over. How can you help the team to work on the most important story?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Or we have another question. What is the story point and how do you calculate it?
That's interesting. Both of them are very good questions, but we can only do one. So what question can we do?
The first one sounds good. What do you guys think?
Okay, I will tell you, Harriet. Uh,
How can you help the team to work on the most important story first?
so you guys want to do that one? How can you help the team to work on the most important story first? So basically, you go to a Scrum Master interview and they ask you that, how can you help the team to work on the most important story first? You guys want to do that one instead, or you want to do the what is a story point, and how do you calculate it? Oh, that's another metric one. Maybe we can start the first one. All right. Okay, because the first one is definitely very important too, right? Because we play a heavy role when it comes to getting the team to going back to what the Scrum values, right? Oh, let me not give you guys the answer. Why am I even giving the answer? All right. So how can you help the team to work on the most important story first? What is the key word on that? What is the key word?
The most important, that's
Yes, that's the keyword. So whenever you're given an interview question, you just want to think about it like, okay, what is the keyword? I know sometimes in the interview, you may not even have time to do all of this. But if you practice most Scrum Master interview question, there is no way you go to a Scrum Master interview question and you'll be blank, right? It's another very popular one. So the keyword for this is most important story. That was a very good answer you gave there. So now, what are the reasons why they might ask you this as a Scrum Master in this interview? Why would they ask you this question?
They would ask this question because probably the product owner and the Scrum Master are not collaborating together to refine the backlogs and prioritize the backlogs to make sure that with the customer, with the stakeholder, they haven't identified the right priorities.
Very good answer. Very good answer. Because if the Scrum Master and the product owner are not collaboratively working together with the stakeholders to ensure that they are working on the most highest priority story first, and that's where this issue like this can come up. And that was a very well put together. So what are the other reasons why they might ask you this? What are some other reasons why they might ask you this in an interview?
So another reason might be when you have working like a factory, they are like what they
Very good one too.
the output, not outcome.
Very good answer.
So outcome is the one that value the customer,
Yeah,
not the quantity that you deliver.
yeah. Very, very good one too. But what's another one important thing that you all forgot too, that the reason why they might ask you this in an interview? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's good. But there's another one important thing that that might be happening with this team, and they want you to come in as a scrum master to come help resolve this.
Another important thing that is happening with the team is that you have the backlog that leads up all items and
Yeah, that's good. This is something
artifacts.
that's very commonly happen, and you're oh, sometimes they even ask you this in an interview, but they word this in differently. They usually will always ask this question. Yes, scope creep. There you go, Francisca. Scope creep. That means they have this team. Yeah. So yeah, scope creep. Because that means they have this team or these people. They always are on. They always have scope creep. And when they do have scope creep, and guess what? They want you now, the scrum master, to come in to align them to focus. That's what I was telling you guys. I was giving you the secret in the beginning that going back to our scrum values, right? Like focus. That's one of the reasons why they have that in the part of the scrum values. Focus, focus is very important. And this question clearly can tell you that this team do not have focus. Even if you mention and say that in an interview that, oh, going back to the Scrum values, looking at this, I can see that the team maybe might need more support or need more help around focus. Focus. So how would you answer this in an interview? No one? I guess we have to end here. No, you always go. What about the other ones that have been quiet, that have not been saying anything? People that have not said anything so far. Any one of you want to try? I don't want to call names. Yeah. Our other ones here that have been so quiet. You don't know the answer, I can't. Go ahead, you can try.
Previous job as a Scrum Master, I've worked closely with help remove impediments,
Thank you,
ensure
Francisca. I see
the
that. Thank you for
workflow
following,
runs
subscribing, liking.
healthy
I'm
and
going to be ending the
organized
live. We're going to go live every
for
Mondays and
our
Wednesdays.
teams.
So see you all on Wednesday. Take care.